Good morning. It is Saturday morning, and we have just a few outrageous notions and maybe a line or two. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Black Spring on your Saturday, and it is an 11th hour real under. So I'll try to make it not too painful for you on your Saturday morning because I do believe it is still Saturday morning nationwide. And yes, it is just barely. We're on the heels of noon, at least on the East Coast, and on the West Coast, we are still in the morning sphere. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And for those of you who are not sure if you're tuning in, thank you so much for considering Black Spring with Autumn on your Saturday morning. And if you are on the drive or if you're or whatever you're doing this morning, I hope you are I hope you are free to do that or as free as you can be in some instances. So we're going to have just a couple of thoughts, and it's something that I've mentioned before, and it's related to some of cultural the cultural shifts or just the wonkiness that's out there. And yes, so I'm gonna talk just a little bit about that on the front of things, and then from there I'm gonna move us on to a couple of lines that I find to be interesting or hypocritical or I'll get into that. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we are going to take just a couple of moments to say thank you to our patrons, our subscribers, our friends over on Twitch, as well as our friends over on Periscope. So we'll be right back for more. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Conversations with the ISP. I've had some strong conversations with them, and it seems to be over and over and over again. So that is Groundhog's Day, but they will be split out of here soon, and yeah, not that service again. All right, so what I'm going to do is, am I muted? Am I muted here? Oh, I just want to say hello to everybody that's in the stream before I get going. If you guys can hear me, please give me a one on all networks, whether you're over on Twitch or whether you're on Periscope. I have heard that there's some issues with audio over on Periscope, and I'm wondering if that's kind of a way of that's another issue with them shutting down a bit. Okay, yeah, it's a delay. It's an outrageous. Now that's the word of the day. The word I'm going to ride that word. Shout out to Lou Dobbs. He always says, outrageous, outrageous. I'm dealing with some outrageous things that just kind of keep, just stay in the loop. Okay, so good morning to Marcy T, DJ Yanix. And DJ Yanix says, I'm not sure if you were, what, yeah, you said you like my sweater. I appreciate it. This is, this is a bit homegrown around here. We do our own hair. Uh, we wear our own clothes on the Black Spring Network. And yeah, so it's, kind of a one woman show, but that's the way it's always been. Um, but yes, thank you so much for coming in. So thank you. We will have Twitch honor roll coming up just in just a bit. So DJ Yanix, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for hanging out with us over on Twitch. And wow, that's an interesting subject. I'm not sure if I'm not familiar with that, DJ Yanix. I'll be right back with you on that. Thank you. I will look it up for sure. So we'll come back to that for sure. But good morning, awesome Alice. And who else do I have? Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams, for sharing out the stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Old Head Deuce, thank you so much for coming on. Anarchy Television. And also, if you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, if you will do that for the health of the stream or to kind of keep us, keep us in the wash or keep us on the playing field for people watching football or whatnot. I'm picking up some football lingo these days. Yes. So yeah, it's beyond Tecmo Bowl for me, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. So don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy. But yes, thank you so much for coming in. And Derek C. Williams is here. Thank you so much. You guys are most generous. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I said we do our own. We do our own stuff around here. We do everything. Okay, so let me. The question DJ Yannick says, "What are my thoughts on the recent findings on Hawking radiation?" I'm gonna have to look that up, and then I will come back. I think something else I might start doing on these streams. I might pick. We might pick the favorite comment of the day, or I might even roll the comment of the day or something like that into somehow. We'll roll that into the stream. We'll get that going up for you. And thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. Um, I'm going to get right back to you, Derek C. Williams, on that comment. Thank you so much. And Marcy T, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I will look into that. Yeah, radiation. I don't know. I've been around radiation. I think a lot of us are exposed to radiation on levels that are, can I say, for the lack of a better word, that are unbeknownst to us. So I would say it's probably not going to be a good thing. And but I will look it up. I will not speak about it because I haven't looked into it. Shout out to Derek C. Williams. I try not to speak about things that I haven't looked into, but I will certainly look into it without a doubt. Thank you for that. So a couple more comments and then I'll get us in. This is real under, and I said real under without any specific parameters or numbers right now because I don't know exactly how long this is going to take, but I don't want to be deceptive on it. So we'll see. But let me give you the topics. I want to speak just for a second, just give some of my assertions and some of the things that are just coming into focus or things that are just coming into this surface. And first, we'll start with the agenda. We've talked about before the UN agenda as far as the SDG goals. There's set about 17 of those goals, and the education goal is number 4. But I do believe that goal extends. According to the UN, children are the agents of change, and I'm saying that in reference to what I'm seeing in terms of whether it's on the issue of transgenderism or whether it's I think that kids are being used for the agents of change in many cases. And we all are familiar with Greta Thunberg. We did that whole Time magazine. I did a Time magazine spread or whatnot. That was a while back. And that's why I say on this show, it seems like Groundhog's Day because we just keep kind of looping back into the same things that things that are on the front right now are things that I have covered. So if you want to go into any of the older videos or older live streams, I've done, I was really extensive with those things, and of course providing the links, and so you can get that right now if if you're inspired to do so. But it's been out there. It's, these aren't covert or conspiracy theories. These are open. It's open to the public. The CFR is a real organization. The UN is a real organization that consists of real people. We have plenty of corporations in the US that are members of the CFR. We have news anchors that are members of the CFR. So, the global governance is there's a huge vehicle. It's a huge part of what we're seeing right now. And it's been in the works. I mean, these aren't things that are new. So, check those things out for yourself. But I just wanted to, and I don't normally do this, but I also wanted to shout out, a channel, and he's been on my channel before, just briefly. He goes by the name, I think, of Right Winged Angel. And last night he actually tackled something that he tackled the issue on the, was it D Wade's daughter? Uh, he actually tackled the issue, and of course he wanted to have a dialogue and a discussion about it. And he was asking for people. He said, I want to hear from people that disagree, with my position on whether or not Zaya Wade is a role model. And this is where I see the agent of change is real. And I do believe that Zaya Wade is, on some level, I do believe this is a level of exploitation, no less than Greta Thunberg when it came to climate change. So I don't see, they are the agent of change, and it is what it is. But I just wanted to shout out to him because he had the courage to bring it out. But then, of course, he had the opposition. They came on, and the person that came, I'm not going to name the person that came on or that person's channel. I'm not going to name the opposition, but I think the argument was, to me, he was kind of going in a circle, because he would say, "Oh, I think you guys are just going in a loop, or you guys are just spending too much time on the transgenderism." Well, I'm just, you don't think that's you? He's like, "Well, there's many more issues that the Black community could be spending their time on," and I'm just thinking, you don't think the destabilization of a natural authority figure in the community is an issue? No, I'm just saying. And before you know it, DT's name came into the picture. So before we knew it, it was on Orange Man Bad, full on Orange Man Bad. So I'm just saying, I'm shouting out his channel for even bringing it up. And so most people won't touch these issues. I'm not here to touch the issue. I'm just here to say, I think it's time. I think it's time for the men to, you know, walk in your own authority. You don't walk in it, and you don't have to be shut down. You just do what you do. And those that are going to be intimidated or worried about it or their insecurities, you can't be responsible for that. No matter what, if it's the opposite race, if it's a female, you should speak your mind, whether I agree or not. But this, if you stand by and you say nothing and you bear witness to destruction, then what does that do? I just don't know. I don't know how a community can survive with nonstop destabilization and demoralization, and using children to move it ahead or to as a vehicle. And the guy that was making I've seen the guy. In fact, I've seen the same guy debate Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, and of course, he was doing a loop on that. I think he's more of an apologist. He wanted to make it about uh, not bipartisan, partisanship. He wanted to make it a left-right paradigm. Shout out to TDOA if you're anywhere near anywhere near the sound of this stream or audio and podcast or whatever. But I just wanted to shout out right-wing angel, because nobody, there's not a dialogue in the community, and the arguments that people come up with, they're not arguments. Before, he was just looping. Many things he was saying had nothing to do with the destabilization of the community, and he can't, for whatever reason, he's lost in the sauce on partisanship, rather than you know focusing on the destruction of it. I mean, creating an effeminate culture is destabilizing, and I don't know. He wasn't getting that. He says, "Oh well, the Democrats are the party of the people, and they're better at policy than Republicans." It was something along those lines. It was going nowhere. And then I think something happened with the stream. So I think we all kind of lost, I think we kind of lost contact. And I'm not sure if they were able to resume the stream, because I'm not sure. I think this was on his Instagram page. Shout out to you guys if you guys want to look at his page. It's right, I think, underscore winged angel. And he did the stream on Instagram, but I'm not sure how user friendly that. I mean, actually, I saw up to four people. I saw four people in that stream, and I've never gone live from Instagram. And so I thought it was nice to see. More than nice, it was encouraging to see somebody just let's just have a conversation. Can you just have a conversation and bring something to support your argument? That, I think, that's all we're asking for. If you don't have it, then it shrinks, right? Then the conversation dies. If you don't, or you just resort to yelling and name calling, and then it's done at that point. But and you end up, worse off than you started. So I'm not sure what it's going to take, but I shout out to him for bringing it up. And yes, as they say, I just hands off the kids. Like, leave the kids alone. Please leave the kids alone. But they're not going to do that, because they know how powerful that is. They know how influential things are. And I'm going to be honest. Somebody brought this to my attention the other day. You're right. Everywhere you go right about now, there's a message. There's some kind of indoctrination or brainwashing on every billboard now. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter the issue. It doesn't have to be on transgenderism. It can be on anything. And it's just, everything is just dripping. Airwaves are dripping with this propaganda that they want to push, these agendas. And now the question, what he was saying, oh, well, who's pushing the agenda? I'm like, well, can you at least admit that there is an agenda? Can you just do that? I mean, there's many, like I said, that's not my platform. That's not my objective here. But there are many issues that need to be addressed in Black community. And to me, if not now, when? Many issues. And I just wanted to say, it's nice to see somebody step up, or at least bring it to the front of conversation. And because he also mentioned Michelle Obama and the interview. I think we've all seen it on some level, whether we saw it on the internet or we've seen it on YouTube. However, but I just think that you cannot continue. Mankind does not continue if we don't have men. And that would be my, if we don't have Black men, then how does the Black community continue? How does that continue? I don't know. If you guys can reprove that, let me know. Whatever you got. Trust the science, right? Not junk science, but whatever you got. Maybe you got something better. I don't know, but I'm gonna pull my hands off of that. And so yes, we are going to we're gonna do our real under, and I'll be right back with you. And then also we still have to do our Twitch honor roll. So That's kind of, it's almost a play on roll, a play on words. Twitch honor roll. So we got Twitch honor roll coming right at you, and then we'll be right back to start the double lines on our real under. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm back, and yes, that was that's our, what I'm calling is a Twitch honor roll, because we have people that have decided to join us, and wherever BSWA, or wherever this climate of populism takes us. So thank you guys so much for being on board there. Thank you, and that list is growing, and I thank you guys for at least taking it, for considering it, because I started out as on the premise of making sure we have a place to go, and let's see, yeah, making sure that we have a place to go or a place to be, and because who knows, this may not be here anymore. I mean, I may come here one day, and and then the whole thing is stripped, maybe. But I just want to make one comment. Information Man Show, thank you so much for coming in. I just want to read your comment. And there's so many great comments already with just 22 minutes in. I'm saying, like, honestly, these kinds of topics that I started off by making a comment on, you could do an entire show on that. You really could, but not this show, not today. But I'm going to read the comment from Information Man Show, who says, conversations are great, but what are we doing about these issues? We are the leaders. We are looking for, not the government. Touche, Information Man Show. And I will say I only want to add to that. Well, I want to, in another direction, which is, I still think is relevant to what you just said, is that I would think that that the Black community needs to authentically choose leaders. And it doesn't need to be white liberal driven. We don't need leaders that are chosen for us. We don't need leaders we don't need leaders who are enemies that have been turned into heroes. We don't need deception, is what I'm saying. I think there's more deception that has misguided and destabilized and contributed to the destabilization of these issues, and even a rebuilding, or I just don't think that we have the right people in place. And I think that's because there is a system that I think that has, and I call that system an elite system, and a system that I don't control, a system that was in place before any of us, Black or white. And that's why I get on my box about that regularly, about people telling you how to feel, how to think, how this should be. People trying to reprove you on your Blackness, or whatever people, on your African Americanism, whatever. We don't need those personalities horning in or pushing or asserting themselves. We don't. I mean, I think it can be done. It needs to be done, I think, on a grassroots level, by real people. Do you need money to move things forward? Yes, you do. But you also need people that are not tapped or not selected by somebody that doesn't really have a real connection to the situation. You don't to communities, or just, I'm sick of the white liberals running the roost. That's what I'm on about when I'm talking, when we talk about conversations, and we talk about leaderships. We don't need people that are enthusiasts or activists asserting themselves. Oh, I'm a leader. It's not that I'm not saying that that your voice is not important. I think everybody's voice is important, but to be the leadership should be people should be elevated to leadership in communities or in sections that are that's actually relevant. It shouldn't just be some person that had money, is picking the leadership, or because you locked arms with a political action committee is how we end up with, oh, those are the leaders because they got a chance to talk to this political figure. Or no, that doesn't make leadership. Just because you can get an appointment, just because you can get a seat at the table, you might have a seat at the table, but what kind of seat is it? Is this as a subordinate seat? Every seat is not a good seat. Even in the box, all the seats aren't the best seats. I mean, it appears that I think people think that that's progress. If it's not moving you forward, what is it doing? And we're not moving forward. We're not moving forward. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will get off of that. Yes, so let me just go ahead and get us going here. So first on the docket today is, you guys might not find this interesting at all, but I find it ironic that the $1,400 stimulus check, this $1,400 stimulus checks can be seized by private collectors for unpaid debt. So I will put that link in the stream for you. It's coming out of Fox Business. Hang on a second. I've got some noise here in the background. Okay. Sorry about that. It's a bit of a delay in noise there. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I am on a delay there. Okay. Okay. And as soon as I finish one thing, I end up on to something else. Okay. So I fixed it. All right. So I'm back. All right, guys. So let me thank everybody for coming in. Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Information Man Show. I really appreciate it. He says not actors. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind, but I'm not ignoring. I'm just behind. He says not sports figures or actors. Yes. Because I mean, okay, so I'm on about this right now. I'm trying not to be on about it right now, but we've done this whole anthology of the hip hop for public health out of New York, the New York based organization, or the New York platform there. And rather than them use the credibility of a doctor or somebody from the they gave a doctor a piece of the platform, but they mostly used the hip hop industry. To me, they've infiltrated the music, they've infiltrated the culture. That's why I'm easy on the use of the word culture, because if it's a sold out group of people that are doing it, is that really your culture? Are you really the author of your own culture? If people have turned enemies into heroes. And I'll explain that another show. I'm getting on a soapbox or a little bit of a rant somewhat, but I'm saying they used DMC McDaniel. I do believe it. I think I figured it out. TDOA, if you're out there, I think it's I think that was Moni Love on there on that rap on the 4th anthology. It was not Lil Kim. I was thinking that was a very good guess, but I'm thinking maybe it was Moni Love. I did go to the site and see that they have their roster of all stars. The roster of all stars, I think, included Moni Love and Dougie Fresh and some other people, but I do believe Moni Love was the person that was rapping on that. But anywho, you guys can do that. You guys suffered five Thursdays in a row on the anthology, and I appreciate it. But yes, but they use the Kratos in their propaganda. They use these celebrities because they believe, I think, that these celebrities can reach It's almost like they believe that the celebrity will reach or influence the Black community more than a doctor. So I'm just thinking, why didn't Fauci's, I heard Fauci was on another artist that I haven't heard from in years. I believe I heard that he was on her show. So why not put Fauci on in the video, or why not put the actual CDC stats? They gave charts, but there was no data in the charts. So you're not raising literacy like that. They gave you a template and they gave you some rhymes. That's what they did. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'm going to keep going. Hello, Killer Whale Channels. And thank you guys so much. And I haven't said this, but I'm going to say it now. If you haven't had a chance to hit the like button, that would be helpful for our purposes here. And I want to thank you guys so much for coming in. And I want to thank Information Man Show and all of the men in here for standing up and calling it like it is. Calling it like it is, whatever that is, whatever if you've got some thoughts behind it, if you've got conviction, then call it out. I appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. So let me move on to the irony of the $1,400 stimulus check. It says America Restoration Act, right? We're restoring things, right? We'll get into that right after this. All right, guys. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So we're going to go into this next story. And I thank you guys so much for the comments and being so engaging on that. And I want to read this comment. I want to keep reading these comments because they're so loaded, and I will. So let me go just a little bit backwards, and then I'll get on to what I find to be ironic. And I find how this American Restoration Act is not, I'm not sure if I'm convinced that they're restoring anything with this, but hey. All right, so we have Derek C. Williams, who says hip hop was in fact recognized by the UN as a culture back in the late 1990s, perhaps ceremonial. However, the quote culture end quote has been weaponized as evidenced by that vaccine rap by DMC. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. A very observant Derek C. Williams. I did not know. I wasn't aware of that. I do believe that they've recognized music. Maybe it was more jazz that I recognized, or that they recognized that I saw, but I haven't seen their influence, their take on hip hop. So thank you for that, Derek C. Williams, the prolific Derek C. Williams. Derek keeps us on our toes around here. So thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. And you guys want to get over and check each other out on this channel, because we do have what I call the heavy hitter content creators in here. We have very consistent content creators, and you never know, you might find a kindred spirit around here, or who knows, anything's possible, right? All right, so here's another comment. Let's go with Marcy T. I'm going backwards here. But Marcy T says, I get so sick of all these actors and sports stars and the likes telling us to wear a mask and stay home. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And if you could please hit that like button or dislike button, or please make sure you're still subscribed. And or even hit the like button, or okay, I really appreciate it. So we have Awesome Alice, who says it really makes me sick how they are playing on people's minds these days. Amish is look more inviting by the day. Amish. All right, Awesome Alice, very interesting. Very interesting. And Zero the Infinite, thank you so much for coming in. He says hip hop is a culture, but a lot of people don't know that. Yes, but see that's the thing, and this is what I'm on about. There's to me there's such a fine line between all of these things. There's such a fine line between art because just like you can, it can be a it can be something that you can grow and grow on, or it can take you places, but I think it can also be used against you. It can be as poisonous as a drug or abuse. It can be as detrimental or as demoralizing or as destabilizing. All of these elements, all of the arts of expression can be weaponized, you know can be weaponized against you or against your community. um, I mean, just look around you. You don't have to look that far right now. You really don't. You can find it everywhere. And yeah, like the amount of propaganda is injected everywhere. And when people start quoting for the people for this, okay, you're going into 1933. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about more of a Stalin generation. It's for the people was a language, was a phrase of theirs. It was written into their constitution. And but people don't, it just seems like we have a very tunnel vision of history. If it's not relevant to our cause or our plea, we don't want to accept that we're being either played or we are being, you know shafted. um yeah, so yeah, this is turning into be this has turned out to be an interesting stream here, and I really appreciate you guys here for sure. And listen, very nice. Awesome Alice says, the first reset was in 1931. I didn't know that. Awesome Alice. Well, we've talked about this too. When we talk about economy, we've talked about they want to inject this fixed economy where our economy we will not even be able to respond to the needs or to the demands, the production of our own economy based on this Paris Climate Accord. I it's just all coming to a head. It's just it's out there for you to see. And once you see, another thing that I as a comment that I made last night, is like once you see things, once you start seeing things, you can't unsee it. And I think that's why people close their eyes, because it's there, but they don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit it. They would rather serve their emotional agendas, or their own selfish, or their own, be more vengeful, or be, they'd rather serve their, vitriol or hate than to do something that's going to be much more, you know far reaching. They would rather do that. Marcy T says the first reset was time changed from BC to AD. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on from all of that loaded conversation, because I mean, honestly, we could probably go on for a couple of hours, and it would be. Marcy T says, look up prions. It's what's to come after this vague. Okay. Thank you for that, Marcy T. And see, you guys, look at these comments. How can I not? I just think it's my I just think it's a collaborative duty to read comments. So Hip Information Man Show says hip hop is dead today. There is no hip hop culture today. Hip hop hasn't been a culture since late 70s, early 80s, and 90s. What you have today is dead. The music is wasted down. No purpose. Okay. All right. So let me go on to let me get on to the irony of the pieces in this Restoration Act. I'm gonna see if you guys are you feeling restored out there? All right. I'm not sure if you are, but I'm not. So we're gonna get on with this. So I'm gonna share the screen with you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. It's outrageous. It's an outrageous end of the week. All right. So what we have here, this perspective comes from foxbusiness.com. $1,400 stimulus checks can be seized by private collectors for unpaid debts. Some individuals with unpaid debts could have their stimulus money seized this time around. All right. So I don't know, you can just check your drawer or whatever, Here we go. President Biden on Thursday signed into law a sweeping CV relief package that includes $1,400 stimulus checks for many Americans. But some individuals with unpaid debts could have that money seized this time around. This time around, okay? Just ride with me on this. This time around, debt collectors will be able to garnish the third round of cash payments that are expected to be delivered to Americans by the end of the month as part of Democrats' $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. So I called it the wrong thing. It's not the American Restoration Act. I think I'm on about that's something else. Wrong acronym. It's the American Rescue Plan. So you rescue. But unlike the first two payments, which explicitly prevented creditors from snatching the money, the checks will not be exempt from garnishment. That's because congressional Democrats passed the legislation using a process known as budget reconciliation, which allowed them to circumvent a filibuster by Senate Republicans. Consumer and banking groups, including the American Banker Association, are urging lawmakers to pass a standalone bill and close the loophole that will allow creditors to take the money. Okay, quote, the economic impact payments are intended to help families purchase food and other necessities to make ends meet, end quote. The American Bankers Association and a coalition of groups wrote in a letter to congressional leaders Tuesday, quote, many people were already struggling prior to the CV crisis and millions have now been laid off or had their hours cut, end quote. All right. Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat of Oregon, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, said he plans to introduce a separate bill that would shield the money from private debt collectors. He urged Republicans to support the measure, even though no GOP lawmakers voted for the stimulus bill. Quote, while Democrats intend to protect the third payment from debt collectors, Senate rules did not allow us to include that protection in the American Rescue Plan. Wyden said in a statement on Monday, quote, I'll be introducing standalone legislation to ensure families receive their much needed relief payments. The first round of stimulus checks worth up to $1,200 distributed last spring as part of the $2.2 trillion CARES Act did not prohibit creditors from garnishing the money, but many state and local governments adopted protections in order to prevent the collectors from gaining access to the money. Congress included a provision in the $900 billion relief package it passed in December, making the $600 stimulus payments off limits to private creditors. The cash payments included in the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill are the largest yet, with individuals earning $75,000 or less eligible to receive $1,400. Couples earning $150,000 or less will receive a check worth $2,800. Households will receive an additional $1,400 for each dependent child claimed on their most recent tax filings. Ay. Does that, I'm sure you guys have a mouthful to say about this. I'm sure. So I don't know. Are you guys feeling rescued? So it's a way of it's just way too much. It's way too much. And there probably, I would imagine, I'm wondering there are some people that did not receive the second or maybe even the first. So is it possible that their money was garnished? I just think that there's going to be a lot to come out about this bill. A lot of not only misspending, the money's not going to get to the people that actually need it. If they are, like, what about the small business owners? Are they going to figure out a way to, to circumvent that? I mean, who knows? There were tons of funds that were not spent from the last one. And I just think it's just getting lost. It's just, to me, it's It's a recipe for money to be misappropriated and lost and stolen and laundered. So with all the confusion going on, what are the chances that that money's actually going to reach people or that needed it? I have no idea. I just think, I'm not feeling rescued. I don't know if they can rescue anybody, but I will say that I did see a press conference, and I'm paraphrasing a press conference that I saw on the VP Harris saying that, oh, we're lifting people out of poverty with $1,400. I Now I know many people would beg to differ on that. Those figures that couldn't be right. I mean, but who actually believes that? Do you actually believe that? Does it feel good to hear somebody say something like that just because their skin might match yours in some way? Or I don't know. I don't know what kind of thoughts go on inside of anybody's mind. I really don't. And we will be right back. I'm going to take just a short little break and thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, there's something for everyone. So please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So, yes, I think that bill is probably pretty loaded, no less, like the ones that came before it. And I think there's less than 10% of that money that's actually going to the American people. It was like 9 point something. I mean, I'd have to do the math again and go over it again, but I think it's less than 10%. So I anticipate inflation, and I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's not good. It's not good. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I'm gonna go into some comments here, and I thank you so much. Zero the Infinite says, "Where's that ad skip button?" Well, you know what? I haven't been approved by the powers that be. You know, yeah, I'm not approved for those kinds of skip. When I get to a certain level, then I get to have a skip. You get a skip button for my ads. In the meantime, you don't get to skip. Sorry, you don't. All right, that's the comment of the day goes to Zero the Infinite. I appreciate it. Let's see. And Old Head Dude says, just faulty BSWA. And Joseph Francis Burton, thank you so much for coming in. It's nice to see you. He said, lifted people out of poverty with $1,400 crumbs. That will just go to debt payment. Infuriating language from our leaders. Yeah, it's getting harder to say the word leaders, and it's just gotten so much harder to hear the things that are coming out of these people's mouths. It's outrageous. And let's see, I want to go. There's some other comments in here. Marcy T says it's evil. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And Killer Whale Channels. How are you doing, Killer Whale? Thank you so much for coming in. He says, our leader has no clue where he is, LOL. You got a point there. Awesome Alice says Joe Biden's new name is Joe Crow because he is making Jim Crow laws great again. Ooh. Awesome Alice, we count on you. We count on you, Awesome Alice. Thank you so much. Let's see. And then I want to read this comment from Zero the Infinite. He says, Brazil may do so, but the other dancers on the other side kind of do. Okay. See, this is what I'm saying. When there's interactive, when, I don't know, I'm referencing Zoom right now. Okay. So, on Zoom, when you have a conversation amongst, when you want your comment to go to everybody in the class or whatever it is, you can say to everyone. And then when you have something that you just want to be between you, when you have an interpersonal comment or conversation, you can do that with just one single person. It would be nice if maybe the CEO or the developers, maybe instead of putting, doing the maintenance the way they're doing it and getting rid of buttons and changing things, maybe they could add something actually useful to broader discussions. Thank you guys so much. And Marcy T says dangling a carrot. And let's see, where else do we have? There's some great comments in here. I gotta control myself. Let's see. Derek C. Williams says, quote, I wake up every morning and, quote, Jill, where the hell are we? Line taking from regime commander Joe Biden upon waking up every day in the White House, a confirmed statement. See, Derek C. Williams, you are prolific. Thank you, Derek C. Williams. And let me read this information, the Information Man Show's comment. America is a corporation. They have long forgotten about caring about people in this country a long time ago. The dollar is recoverable. People are spendable. Both parties don't care. Thank you, Information Man Show. I appreciate that. I can see that. Yeah, we have like a totally a dichotomy here, and just it's I don't know. It's not sustainable. One way is definitely this populist culture, this populist government that we're dealing with. That is absolutely not sustainable. So, and then who knows where will we wind up? Where is it going to take us? And Derek C. Williams says, I'm going back a little bit. Says, since they print money a lot, can't they just leave the garnishment alone? This is sarcasm added. Okay. All right, guys. So I really appreciate it. And Awesome Alice says, yes, inflation is coming, babes. All right. And Killer Whale says, twos are wild. I just reached 222.2K tweets. All right, Killer Whale. Okay. So, and the last comment before I move us on to our next segment is from Awesome Alice. She says, when y'all get some time, check out Topher. He got some good music. One is facts are racist, and get back to the truth. Okay. I don't know. You know what, Awesome Alice? If you have a link for that, you can drop it. You can drop that if you want. Okay. And the Information Man Show says, if you're depending on political people to be your leaders, you're already asleep. We don't work for them. They work for us. So we put the pressure on and lead their ASS. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's a great point. Great point, Information Man Show. Yes, they don't want to work for us. They want to treat us like peasants and like they're negotiating, Stockholm syndrome. We're held captive on some level. It's nonstop. And hello to Kimon Reed Unstoppable, my friend out of Canada. Nice to see you here. I really appreciate you for coming in. And she says, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. All right, guys. So I'm going to move us on to some business that you've heard about. And do I believe this is going to happen? I'm not convinced this is going to happen, but they're making it look good. It's like, what is it? Do you guys remember? Okay. What did they say? Am I telling my age right now? Or do you guys remember the WWF? Okay. So with that said, we're going to go on to the recall efforts of King Gavin Newsom. And this is going to come out of OAN. And according to this, the recall California Governor Newsom effort surpasses the 2 million signatures. Why am I putting a dollar amount on the signatures? Which that would make them worth something on some level, but maybe not. But yes, so this is coming from One America News Network. So this is the recall, some update on the recall efforts. So we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so looks like let me bring you into this one here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn, and also thank you guys for being so patient with all the glitches around here. And I'm going to blame it on the ISP. And it's either that or these platforms are kind of getting shafted. They are not. I'm not sure. I think there's something between the two. The communication between the two is very weak. It's very poor. So it makes it, more difficult for me to maintain things at the kind of strength that I need to keep this thing going without problems. So we're going to move on to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And this has been very stimulating. We've injected quite a bit of some new elements into this stream. I really appreciate it. And we've heard from some people more that have expanded on some things that I haven't seen before. So it's nice to have that. All right, guys, you guys are the best around here. Marcy T says they are censoring me. I'm sure they are, Marcy T. Thank you guys so much. So here we go. We're going to go with our recall effort. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the full scale on this. All right, according to this, in which I don't have a lot of faith that this is going to happen. I mean, I do believe we have a new Secretary of State. I happen to actually know who that person is. She's a former professor, maybe emeritus professor, alumni professor at the university around here. So we'll see what that looks like. All right. So what you see here before you is the California Governor Gavin Newsom delivers his State of the State address from Dodger Stadium Tuesday, March 9th in LA. All right. So what you have here, according to this, the effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom, Democratic California, hit another milestone. See, aren't they giving you some hope here? Organizers of the, quote, recall Newsom, end quote, campaign said they've surpassed their goal of gathering 2 million signatures. The initiative needs about 1.5 million signatures by March 17th, the deadline to put the recall efforts on a state ballot. Right, according to this, Ashley Zavala looks like she tweeted it. And according to this, she says, just in, the effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom has surpassed the goal of 2 million signatures with still days ahead of deadline. The supporters say the count is now at 2,060,000 signatures, enough to offset the potential 25% rejection rate of verified signatures. So yeah, so just give me a second here to digress just a second. The verification of the signatures, I think, is going to be the make or break here. At least that's what they're saying, or at least that's what my sources, tell me. But I'm just thinking, okay, they're really concerned about signatures, but they're going to draw this out as long as they can. I think there's a timeline for the verification. But like I said, I have no idea I don't have a lot of faith that it's actually going to happen. I don't. And we'll see. We'll see. But I'm going to keep going here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right. So it says, so far, the group said about 1.8 million of those signatures have been verified. Okay. Have been verified. A Republican contender for California's governorship called out Newsom for his failed leadership. All right. So this is, I I think Falconer has. I think he's run before. He's a former San Diego mayor. So, according to this quote, our state has become the land of broken promise, end quote, the former San Diego mayor Kevin Falconer stated, end quote. No. And the promise breaker in chief is Gavin Newsom. If all the required signatures are verified by California's Secretary of State's office, a special election for governor will be held sometime this summer. Okay, so the thing about that is, I do believe that Falconer has run before and he did not win, and I think somebody else ran and they did not win. So who are they who's likely to have a chance in this land, in this liberal land? Who actually is going to have a chance? I don't know. I don't know what even that ballot would look like. I don't even know. I have no idea. But I do think that they're really dressing this up. They're really gassing it up. And I think they're giving people false hope about it because, if these contenders had, losing campaigns previously, who are they going to replace them with? Either way, you'll have your regular disruption of life on tap coming up during the summer. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to read some comments. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so Information Man Show says Republicans have been want to take over California for a long time, but it's not going to happen. I live in California. I know exactly what's happening. Well, I don't think I don't see them. It's just it's too dominated. It's a virtual one party rule is what it is. So if that's why I'm saying if you get rid of Newsom, then what are you going to do? Get a similar personality in or what? Maybe not similar, but I'm not even sure who else would be. But I will say now I heard this might be a rumor. Now you can fact check me on this. I've heard there's one name in the hat, which I'm not sure if I believe this. And I haven't heard him make any kind of statement about it on any of his podcasts. But I have heard the name. I've heard Larry Elder's name. I've heard about it in the hat. So I don't have any idea, but I'm thinking that we'll just keep an eye on that situation. And for those affected, it is what it is and it's not what it's not. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming in. All right, what I'm going to do is read a couple of comments here and then we'll go to a little break and then we'll come right back. That's pretty much what I have for you on your Saturday. Don't want to take up too much of your time. And but don't quote me on that Information Man Show because I'm not 100% sure that he's going to run under these circumstances or whether he was talking about or whether this is projected for another, in the event that Newsom's term runs out, that he would that as a challenger to Newsom at another time. I don't know, but I think it's a show. It's another more political theater, and they just kind of inject this stuff to keep it interesting because they're going to do whatever they can to keep it going, to keep it the way that it is. So all right, so I'm going to keep going. All right, so Derek C. Williams says a potential guy in Michigan is a black man. If elected, he aims to cancel Black History Month. He alleges it's, quote, disrespectful, perhaps illegal, end quote. Well, that's very interesting. Very interesting, Derek C. Williams. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to go back a little bit. So we had a Cuomo comment. We haven't talked about Cuomo at all. Because I said this, earlier, or maybe in another stream, is that this is a reactionary period. it's a delayed reaction because I think just about everybody knew what was going on, or most people, like I said, these conspiracy theorists just keep looking better and better and better all the time because we're not reacting to what's put on in front on the table, what the news is putting on the table right now. We're not reacting to it because we've already reacted to it like 9 to 12 months ago. This is for the what's on the table right now is basically leftovers to us, and we've already moved on to either making another meal or we're on to something else. We're ahead of the situation. But we're conspiracy theorists. Okay. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming in. And Old Head Deuce. Old Head Deuce says, I pay him zero attention. Gavin Newsom is, quote, tacky, end quote. All right, Old Head Deuce. That's a word I haven't heard in a long time. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And Austin Malice says, when conspiracies seem more believable than the people in office, something is stirring in the universe. And all right, so yes, just really quickly, we'll go to a little bit of a break. I'll be right back. All right, guys, hang in there. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I do really appreciate you guys for taking the time out on your Saturday. But I did find these, usually when I do these real unders, I'm doing them because I find there's some relevance. There is some relevance to what's happening out here, and if you're paying attention, I think you might, we might meet in the middle on that. Or if you're not paying attention, you think everything's fine. So we'll see what happens. Killer Whale Channels, you are most generous. Killer Whale Channels, I really appreciate it. And yes, so we're gonna change pace here in just a second. I kind of wouldn't mind having you guys come on, but I tell you, there's this one clip that I have, and it just seems like it's going to be kind of an immortal kind of a clip, because it just kind of feels like we're in a live exercise. To me, everything is a live exercise right about now. So, I always I do this to you guys every now and then, but I don't know. I think it's relevant.
This matters going forward. We're in a live exercise here to get this right.
Okay, so I think we're in a live exercise every day, and the issues are relevant to the live exercise. So yes, but as you know, what are we coming up on? 365 days of the CV-19, or what was it, 15 or was it 14 days to stop the spread? I don't know, but we're still in a live exercise. So with that said, I'm going to open this up, and I'll give you guys your 3 to 5 minutes allotment here if you're interested. If not, we are going to be saying so long. And yes, so I'm going to do that right now. And then while I'm doing that, I will go through and say, salute to everybody in the chat on your Saturday. Thank you guys so much. And Derek C. Williams, thank you so much for being the gold standard in here, dropping links, etc., as well as my other stripes, you guys. Thank you guys so much. So I'm going to go. So if you come in, we're on about, because I tell you guys, I never post. I don't exactly post the description of everything because I am trying to avoid avoid the censorship is what I'm trying to do, because there is some suppression. Yes, there is. How much I can't prove how much there is, but do I believe there? I think it's reasonable that that there is suppression, and I think the more I give the algorithm, the more they're spitting me out, for the lack of a better word. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the top. Da da da. Hello, Derek C. Williams.
Yeah. Shout out and respect due to Black Spring with Autumn Intelligence done right. How you, young lady?
Derek, I'm hanging around. I'm still hanging around on the West Coast right now. Ticking, time's ticking though.
Yeah, well, it's about 1:03 Eastern Standard Time. I got like a couple hours left before I'm done with my day. But yeah, I just want to come in. I always have to give you support. You just have a damn good channel. I'm just glad I'm just glad I'm on your team.
Well, Derek, you are always most generous. I really appreciate you. And I'm saying, it's been a while. It seems like we're coming up on a year that I met you either via someone else. This is a strong community. It's a strong network. This thing we call YouTube, or these YouTube streets, if you will. And I'm thankful that you've been a part of the team, and I hope you will stay on no matter where I wind up on the map.
It's funny that you say that, because yesterday, I had went live, and one of the first things I had said that I know my days are numbered. I think I have like maybe 17 videos that have been taken from YouTube, and I do have a strike out of all the video. I've done like maybe 500 some video. All of a sudden now I got a strike, but somebody that when I did that video yesterday, I kind of took a quote from what they said, and they would deplatform. And so if they can hit him, who am I? And so the thing is that Gates and all them, they have colluded to get people out of here, whether you got 1 million subscribers or 3,200, such as myself, that are actually trying to say some stuff that matter. See, if we were just up here talking about Meghan Markle and LeBron James and all this stupid stuff all the time, they don't bother you. But the minute you try to say anything, now again, I'm not a well-spoken verse dude, none of that. I barely graduated high school. I just happen to read a lot. And so I noticed that a lot of people that I know don't. And so you look like you're a genius to them, but it ain't about that. The thing is, you should try to pass along information that is of value, because like right now, so many people are lost in the sauce. But because this is their platform, you notice a lot of times I say their tool, and it really is. This is not a the airways should be free, and they are free, but this is a public entity. I mean, a private entity. And so for that reason, like, no, you just can't be saying nothing. And so, that's just where we are. So you have to, the very fact that you have to talk in code and all this in America, that shows you right there, we are not free. You can't possibly be free if you got to watch what you say, and aside from direct calls for violence, talking about those kids and stuff like that, everything should be fair game. And so if we're talking about stuff that people say the word vaccine, no, you're wrong. This is an experimental treatment that they got going on. Just did a video about it this morning, and the faculty is saying that it's experimental, but that would be considered vaccine misinformation. So says their two CEO, Susan Wojcicki. So they got it. We have you shut up. Bottom line.
Well, Derek C. Williams, I think you've been a soldier. You've been in the trenches for a long time. As I say, I consider you, I've coined you the prolific Derek C. Williams because you're not missing a beat. You're keeping your content, your content level is you're steady, you're consistent, and it's always it's informative. And if you're sometimes you get a double win. You get paradoxical and you get informative at the same time. So you're a threat because you're speaking out and you're presenting things with facts.
But I would just say in closing, that's what I find funny. What I said yesterday, I'll tell you, man, look, I should not have graduated on time. I should not have graduated high school on time. That's all I got is a high school education. I ain't got no letters behind my name, none of that. I don't do none of that. I'm from Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the nation. Educationally speaking, we ranking in the bottom half of all 50 states. I come from nothing. I just so happen to read, but I'm saying this for this reason. What I'm doing, anybody can do. You got this. You got a whole encyclopedia in your hand. You literally got the whole world in your hand. It's just a matter of whether or not you're gonna speak up or not. That's all. I mean, it's really as simple as that. I ain't doing nothing special. But I mean, I thank you for that, but I ain't doing nothing special. It's funny. That's funny that people be saying that.
Well, it's real. It's real, and I think it's true. I think you have the guts or you have the courage. You got the courage of your conviction, and you're not apologetic. What did I say? You're POC tested. None of that stuff's going to work on Derek C. Williams. And and I love your phrases or your terms where you say, what is it? Is it your advice to your daughter? If I'm not mistaken, don't be you, or you just tell people in general, don't be a dumb person with a smartphone.
Shameless plug. About a year and a half ago, I did a video entitled "Don't Be a Dumb Person with a Smartphone." What good is you, man? Like, what good is you? We use all this information. Well, I'm sorry, the useless information when you start talking about sports celebrities, Meghan Mitchell, that's useless information. But if you have a smartphone, I thought, being that we're in the 21st century, we should be better with the information that we get. But for some reason, people seem to shun away from that, and people are willful. They want to be willfully ignorant. I just don't. We was talking about hip hop a second ago. That was the worst thing. We had this vehicle. You got to use it, and so I put my foot on the gas, and what's gonna be.
Well, I thank you always, for your insight and also what you bring to the chat. And I'm going to say this. I'm digressing. I'm taking something from what you said. I would never be convinced that you barely graduated high school. I would never be convinced by that.
So that's all I got.
Never.
Well, man,
or some people said never.
That's all I got. I shouldn't have marched on time because, like I said yesterday during my live, I know I failed my geometry test. That was gonna get me over the threshold. I know I failed it, and I know the woman let me go through.
Well, I think you did. You probably proved a lot of people. You probably surpassed a lot more people than you realized. I mean, I don't know what a time. I'm thinking that you could do anything. So just keep going. And I say this all the time. Just keep inspiring. Because you do. And I appreciate you for being a supporter on here and for always, bringing your Mississippi flavor, to the table, bringing it.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, that's all I want to say. So I know I ran over my 3 minutes, so I
Yeah,
apologize. I'm gonna go on and step off. All right.
that's the starting limit. That's it. That's the
All right, well,
that,
okay. Well, you take care of yourself here.
all right. Thanks so much, Derek C. Williams. Have a
Yes,
good
ma'am.
day.
Take care. You too.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Derek C. Williams, and Derek comes on. We're always happy to have Derek C. Williams on. He's a great content creator. He supports the channel. He's a great supporter, and yeah, he's. I think I don't think Derek knows a stranger. I don't, but he will. He is in his. He is not apologetic. He will be in his natural authority at all times. So, as they say, don't get it twisted, as they say. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. I appreciate it. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment on your Saturday. And I appreciate the the people that we've had in today. Some people I haven't seen in a long time, and the conversations that we were able to get into some things that we are not really hearing on. We're not hearing them on mainstream, but it looks like more people are willing to talk about some cultural things and some things that are influencing the country overall. It's not just a black thing, a black community thing. It's an American thing, or can I even say that anymore? It's definitely, these are things that are affecting everybody, or they're going to affect everybody. So I think it's everybody's job to speak up, or to speak up, stand up, or just say no. Just say no to the pressure. I mean, dare I say peer pressure? Just say no. Just get them out of your space. Say no. I disagree. And I think you guys can do that. Any of you can do that. And I believe any of you will do that. I mean, this is not an action project that I'm advocating for, but I'm just saying, it's what time is better than the present. All right. So I want to say hello and salute to everybody in the chat, and then we're out of here. All right. So let's start with Zero the Infinite. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming in today. I really appreciate your comment. And you got the comment of the day. We don't have a skip. We don't have a skip Black Spring with Autumn ads just yet. We don't. So, who knows? I may not ever get to that, but you can't skip them just yet. And who knows? You might find yourself in one of these ads. Who knows? So you sure you want to skip that? All right, Mars CT. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Always bringing adding to the flavor and bringing us, giving it to us straight. Thank you, Mars CT. And we have Derek C. Williams, of course, the prolific Derek C. Williams that was just on. So shout out to Derek C. Williams. I really appreciate you for coming on, and thank you for supporting the channel since for a long time. So we're coming up on some anniversaries for Patreon, and so thanks so much for being around, Derek C. Williams. And Old Head Deuce, thank you so much, Old Head Deuce, for coming in. I really appreciate it. Always fun. And what else do we have? I'm missing somebody here. Awesome Alice. Yes, thank you, Awesome Alice, for coming in. I really appreciate it. And it looks like I missed one of your comments. But Awesome Alice always brings a nice element to our chat. And the Information Man Show, thank you. It's nice to nice to see you engage here on the channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your support. And I will be getting over there. Thank you so much. And who else do we have? Angela Reed. I almost missed you, Angela Reed. And you ask a question. Let me just read this one really quick. Angela Reed says, did you notice the spending goes to 2030? No, I did not, Angela Reed. I'm not sure where. I will look it up for sure, but no, it's the agenda. It is the agenda. All right. So what else do we have? Killer Whale Channels. It's been a lifetime. I really appreciate you, Killer Whale Channels. Thank you so much for coming in and for being supportive of the channel. And yes, thank you so much for coming in. And Joseph Francis Burton, thank you so much for coming in. And thank you so much for all you do to support the channel. And oh, and then hey, let me just read this comment from Killer Whale Channels. He said, "Where the hell are we? It's almost funny." I don't know, Killer Whale, Killer Whale Channels. What is it? Where's the quote from? Where's the quote from Thelma and Louise? We're not in the middle of nowhere, but we can see it from here. Let's go with that. Let's go with that on the Saturday. And who else do we have? I'm trying not to miss anybody. So we had somebody to come in earlier from Twitch. Let's see. Is anybody over on Twitch right now? We have somebody over on Twitch. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Jermaine G, thank you so much for coming in. I saw you come in there and I didn't want to let you get by there. Thank you guys so much. And Kimone Reed, Unstoppable, thank you so much for coming in. It's nice to have you. And I think that's going to be it. But I can't remember the person. It was somebody, it was a DJ something, a DJ something out of from Twitch. So yes. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. And I thank you as always for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I look forward to seeing you guys as always in another live stream in the comments section or on a Real Under. We didn't make the standard template for the Real Under today, but we had great engagement and great conversations today. All right, guys, take care, and I will be happy to see you guys around.